Hello everybody, welcome to Math Addict original channel and thank you for watching our video. In this lesson we're gonna briefly talk about the common difference and the common ratio. The last lesson we did was about sequences, and then we talked about two major types of sequence. Okay, we had arithmetic sequence and geometric sequence. And one thing we said about arithmetic sequence, we see the arithmetic sequence has a common difference. Okay, so it has a common difference. And then about geometric sequence, we said geometric sequence has a common ratio. Okay, so tonight we're gonna talk about, in this lesson we're gonna talk about those two, common difference and common ratio. We're just gonna use some example and see how can we use them to find missing term or to complete the sequence. So example, let's say we're gonna find the next three terms. Find the next three terms of the following sequence. Okay, A, we got 3, we got 6, we got 9, we got 12. Okay, 1, 2. B, we got 100, we got 95, we got 90, we got 85. C, we have -3. Excuse me. We have -9. I'm sorry, we got the wrong one. C, we got 3, 6, 12, 24, and D, we have 128, 64, 32, and then we got 16. So what do we do? So we need to find the next three terms of the following sequences. So let's start with A. Again, the first thing we need to know is to identify if we're dealing with an arithmetic sequence or a geometric sequence. How do we do that? Is take the first two terms or any two consecutive terms, you find the difference between them, which means we gotta find what the common difference is. Okay, the first thing is to find D. Okay, so remember the common difference is D. Common ratio is R. So we need to find D. So to find D, we're gonna take any two terms. Okay, so I'm taking the first two. I'm gonna say 6 minus 3 is equal 3. All right, so you can say you add 3 here, and then we know 6 plus, and then D is 3. So that means 3 plus 3 is 6. 6 plus 3 is 9. 9 plus 3 is 12. So if 9 plus 3 is 12, so you keep adding 3 here. Plus 3, plus 3, plus 3. So therefore, we're going to say 12 plus 3 is 15. 15 plus 3 is 18. 18 plus 3 is 21. That's all we're doing. Over here, what is the difference between 100 and 95? Okay, so if you see, you're subtracting 5 each time. Okay, subtracting 5, so that means D is -5. You subtract 5 here, right? You subtract 5 here. Okay, D is -5. So for me to get the next term, I have to do 85 minus 5. Okay, so 85 minus 5 is 80. Okay, minus 5. 80 minus 5 is 75. And 75 minus 5 is 70. Okay, so we minus 5 here, and we minus 5 here. Okay, so so we minus 5 because by looking at the difference, because we have a common difference, then we're dealing with arithmetic sequence. So let's say on number C, now 6 minus 3 is 3, but which means 3 plus 3 is 6, but 6 plus 3 is not 12. So we do not have an arithmetic sequence here. So if we do not have an arithmetic sequence, then we have a geometric sequence. So because 3 plus 3 is 6 and 6 plus 3 is not 12. Okay, so in that case, we need to find what else can we do to 3 to get 6. All right, so in that case, we have to divide 6 by 3. You gotta divide 3 by 6. So 6 divided by 3 is 2. So which means to get from here to here, you multiply 2. Multiply 2. Multiply 2. So that's a common ratio, which means R is equal to. Okay, R is equal to. So, and then if we need to find the next 3 terms, it just follow that same pattern. So 24 times 2 is 48. 48 times 2 is 96. And 96 times 2 will be, so we times 2 here, times 2 here. 96 times 2 will be about 192. So we times 2 here. Okay, so that's all. Okay, so you find the common ratio first, then you follow that same pattern of that sequence. Over here, what do we get? You can see that sequence is going down. So what do we do to 128 to get 64? So one thing you can do is say, well, 64 divided by 128. 64 over 128 is 1/2. Okay, so to get here, 64 is half of 128. So to get from here to here, I multiply by 1/2. Okay, I multiply by 1/2, which means you divide by 2. Okay, you divide by 2. Over here, from here to here, you divide by 2, which means you multiply by 1/2. From here to here, again, you multiply by 1/2. So your common ratio is 1/2. Okay, so that's the reason why we say multiply by 1/2. It's the same as divided by 2, but when you're writing your common ratio, you cannot put divided by 2. You have to put the common ratio is what that number you multiply by to get, to the next term. Okay, which is 1/2. So now with that, we can find the next 3 terms. So 16 divided by 2 is 8. 8 divided by 2 is 4. 4 divided by 2 is 2. So that's the next 3 term. Okay. So again, arithmetic sequence have a common difference. Okay. And that common difference is that constant number that you add or subtract to that term in order to get the next term. Okay, so the geometric sequence have a common ratio, and that common ratio is that number you multiply to that term in order to get the next term. Okay, so like for instance, on this one right here, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 term total, right? We start with 4 term and we find the next 3 term, which give us a 7 term. So if I wanted to find 8th term, I could have found it, because as long as I know what my common difference is, then I can find all the terms I need. So in the same here, we got 1, 2, 3, 4. We start with 4 term and we add 3 more terms, make it 7 terms. So the fact that I know the common difference, then I could have kept going on and on and on, and to keep finding missing term, as you know, keep adding term to it. Okay, and the same here. So we start with 4 term and then we add 3 more term, and so on and so forth. Okay, so we use the common difference and the common ratio to find the missing term. So you cannot find the missing term if you don't know what your common difference or common ratio is. If this asks to find the term, the missing term of a sequence, the first thing you need to ask yourself is, what type of sequence I'm dealing with? Is it arithmetic sequence or geometric sequence? And once you find out what type of sequence you're dealing with, if you're dealing with an arithmetic sequence, then you need to find your common difference. And if you are dealing with a geometric sequence, then you need to find your common ratio. Okay, to find out what type of sequence you're dealing with, it just simply do some basic operation. Okay, so if you find the difference between 2 consecutive terms and that doesn't stay consistent, then it's not arithmetic sequence. Okay, so if you divide, or if you find trying to find the factor between 2 consecutive terms and it's not consistent, then it's not geometric sequence. So that's all you need to do. I hope that video helped, and thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and see you next time. Bye bye.